That just sounds kind of crazy though. That it's like it was like no big deal. We're just fucking tagging on some walls because like that shit sounds like I fucking stole when I was a kid too, right? Like I was stealing
Yeah,
shit and you're just like tagging on some walls, like whatever.
yeah.
But then you're getting shot about it.
It just kind of fell in line with what was happening in the neighborhood.
Hmm.
You know, I stood on one side of the street, and the rougher part of the neighborhood was like across the bridge. So, yeah, it was like the suburbs. I stayed right here. I think it was just, yeah, I think it was just a natural course that kind of ran. But in the neighborhood with most of the kids, because there was like, I had friends I went to school with that didn't join gangs. They lived like 5 houses away, but they had like a mom and a dad. Their parents owned their home, if not two of the homes in that neighborhood or on that, you know what I'm saying? And it was usually those kids that we didn't hang out with. I think it was just a natural course for me, and it it did something for me. It did something for me. I felt like I could play a good part in it, you know, like anything, like being in a show, yeah, or a sitcom. I felt like I could play a really good part in it.
You didn't have like anybody that you looked up to in the community that was like doing shit like that.
The gang shit,
Yeah.
yeah, Franklin boys. That's what they called them, the Franklin boys. So I tell you, they were like,
But was there someone close to you that was like I want to be like fucking him or something like that?
like all of them all together. So there was a bunch of them. They all had different nicknames, you know, and so yeah, like yeah. So you wanted to be like that guy. You wanted to be a little bit like that, like Boxer, or fucking a little bit like Night Owl. Because hella quiet, looked hella fucking crazy. So, and then you wanted to walk like fucking Paul, and yeah, I just picked up from everybody. I wanted to be a little bit like all of them, you know. So yeah, that's how it came about for me. And then,
did you see them like having that community too? Like you're seeing like them all hanging out together and shit like that. Did you think like, you know, that's gonna make you popular or like give you more of a belonging type of thing?
yeah, but not. It sounds so cliche, huh? But yeah, but
That's
there's
everyone
so much.
though. That's everyone. Everyone's searching to belong and like feel connected.
Yeah. So yeah, there was some kind of connection I was trying to get out of it, you know, and shit. More is better than just one. So yeah, I noticed with more. With bad kids or when you're out doing that type of shit, like, so if I ain't got no weed, he might have. So, you know, that's why it's better in a group. That way, yeah, one you won't be without in a group setting versus riding solo. Yeah.
So how long were you like active in gang activity?
I think, man, gang activity, like, if you go back to, let me see, up until 99, up until 2001, until I came home, you know.
So 2001 since what, like you're 12, 14 when you start?
No. So gang, remember I told you, so I went through the phase, so it goes gangs. And then middle school is like middle school, high school selling drugs. But anytime you get arrested and go to jail, you got to do your gangs no matter what. Like I still have a tattoo on me. So like, yeah. So yeah.
What is that?
It's just represents red, Northern California, XIV. And then I have something right here, North East South. That's kind of really dingy. But just even that, that's the only gang stuff I have on me. But that in itself, includes me automatically. There ain't no saying I include, unless I would say that the only thing that would not include me is if I said I was going to be a Christian and I wanted to go to church. And then if I did make that choice, I would have to stick to that choice when I came home on the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's not like just say every time you go to jail, you can just say that.
I want to apologize for the interruption. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It really helps out the channel and you'll never miss an episode. Thanks.
Just being badass kids, basically. You know what I'm saying? Being a disruptive member of the community, being a disruption.
Like what? Like how?
For me, myself, I used to like tagging. I used to like fucking writing on the walls. I used to like stealing, but it was never for the advancement of a gang.
Yeah.
It was just shit I like to do my own shit I found joy in doing. And I would, you know, and with that, I can use that to promote my own name within the gang or whatever. But anything I ever did was never for the advancement of a gang or type of stuff like that you hear. But I think it was just behavior, just a mindset. For me, it was a mindset. It was a mindset. It was upholding that mindset, wearing the colors, and be willing to fight and to you know and to funk about it and to fight about it and to get shot about it. You know, I didn't.
That just sounds kind of crazy though. That no big deal. We're just fucking tagging on some walls because like that shit sounds like I fucking stole when I was a kid too, right? Like I was stealing shit and you're just like tagging on some walls, like whatever. But then you're getting shot about it, and so like how does it escalate?
So with
that was always something that I thought was funny when you first told me your story. You're like, yeah, I'm not really about it, but then I got shot. And it's
no,
like,
so
fuck.
here's the thing. So with my chest,
yeah.
So when there was at some point Franklin boys, right? And then we started selling dope. Well, at that time, people were influenced. We were influenced by people coming from prison, and instead of saying Franklin Boulevard, which we were basically all a little bit part of the area, we older gentleman, one of our older friends who was a gang member, we looked up to, created our own little group, and we called it 1-4 Crew. Well, we had beef with, we created we created friction with gardens. And back then it was 29th Street. Well, we're red. 1-4 crew were red rag. Back then 29th Street they were Crips. They were blue rags. And so we used to funk with them. On one particular day, they had shot at each other on 24th Street. And I forgot how it played out, but they shot out my friend's car back window in one of the little Cadillacs he had. The flamboyant friend, but they shot out one of his windows. Later that night, me and my buddy were coming from some girl's house around 12 in the afternoon. And then so in my neighborhood, they caught up with us. It just so happened that 2 Carlos came, they yelled out their gang, I yelled out my gang, and threw up a gang sign, and they shot one time. And the shot grazed me. And then we ran. I didn't even know I was hit. And then we both ran. My friend hit under the car, ran. I hid behind the garbage bin, the green garbage bin. And then when I was leaning there, I noticed a little burnt hole in and a burnt hole out. So anyways, that's kind of how that started. It was blue. It was over blue and red. We're all Mexicans, and yeah. And so we were. That was the main thing, is that, like I told you, we were red. We believe, and we were influenced by like prison politics, North Ed. And so the other guys, they were just Crips, which was kind of, and so yeah. And Sacramento, and back then in Sacramento, there was only those guys, and we used to funk with 47th Street, which 47th Avenue, which was they made a little gang, 47th Street, which were like a couple families that came from LA and stuff like that. But it was like a short-lived little thing. I don't even know if people still do that. But yeah.
Just because you wear a different color shirt, basically.
So yeah, just colors and animosity and knowing every people. Like, so just like we're building our name. So the guys in the neighborhood that I got shot from, they had like names, people knew of them for doing, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, is like names against names, like teams against teams. Like I don't know.
But you almost fucking died that day just because you had like
that actually pumped me up, because none of my friends had been shot. So it kind of made me different, and it set me apart, and it kind of like, yeah, it kind of went to my head. It made me a little more tougher. Yeah, that was it. But I think I think I knew back then I wasn't gonna go out and try to kill nobody over it. I was just lightweight happy that it was happening to me, you know, because it was making me look like fucking Tupac, basically. Really, that's what kind of set me apart, and then it just added to my character along the way, you know. Even getting shot in the face, everyone knows I got shot in the face.
It's just crazy what you're saying, because it's like almost like if you were born 10 miles fucking, you know, north, or just in like a little bit different neighborhood or something like that, like you probably wouldn't be involved in that shit. You would have been shot, probably gotten less trouble. I don't know. That just like sucks to think like you're fucking like young and impressionable, and then like you know, like you didn't die, but there are people that fucking die over that shit. You know?
No, that's why I said, when I'm telling you, is like I didn't have to do a lot of stuff. But I know a lot of people that died. I know a lot of people that did time over this stuff. Like another gentleman, I'll tell you about this, 29th Street. Like he went down there one day with an AK and lit the whole block up, and he ended up doing like 15 to 18 years, and he's home now. And he's still home. You know, he changed his life around. But yeah, a lot of people were affected. I know a lot of people affected by gangs, death, prison. You know, all the outcomes that come with it.
How'd you get shot in the face?
So the face was in '96. I was in my active addiction. I was at a friend's house in Rosemont. They actually had 2 homes. They had a house in Rosemont, and he had a house in the neighborhood. And then so we were out visiting his mom's house. My friend, I stayed with my friend. We stayed in the neighborhood. His mom stayed in Rosemont. Well, we were over there. We usually go over there to eat lunch and stuff like that. That particular day, I told him, take me to this landscaping interview right by our house. And so yeah, he took me. Man, we didn't get to on the way getting out of Rosemont, before getting on Kiefer at this little 4-way where there used to be a Circle K. It's right by Juvenile Hall. But on the way getting out, somebody was behind us revving their engine in an old school car. And my friend had an old school job, Canadian Parisian. All his interior he had redone. It was all his paint job was red, the interior was red. So, you know, and we're talking about, so I grew up with a lot of blacks, and so I grew up with a lot of blacks that are from Oak Park, which are Bloods. So, and that's what my buddy at the time identified as. So I'm thinking the guy wants to race. He's revving his engine because they're 2 old cars. My friend starts revving his engine. I'm going like this out the window, telling him, like, come on. So right when we get on Kiefer, it's 2 lanes. One lane comes and 1 lane goes. Well, we're going towards Watt Avenue, and the guy got on the other side of the lane. And right when I looked at him, he was just like, "What's up, cuz?" And he just had a big ass 9mm, and he shot one time, boom. And right when I heard the shot, I hit the floorboard. I hit the floor door, and I was on the floor, and so this chick was facing the door. My friend in the back seat was telling my friend that was driving, "You got hit in the neck," and it was just like, it all happened hecka fast. So the guy shoots, boom, and he was like, oh man, you got hit. And then my friend starts freaking out. Oh man, he starts tripping out.
So who got hit in the neck? The guy in the back seat?
So no. There's 3 people in the car. My friend's driving. He got hit in the neck, and I got hit in the face. I was in the passenger seat.
Someone went through his neck.
It went through his neck first, and it hit me in the face. Went through his like that, something like that, and then it hit me in the face. So, but no, the guy in the back was, so when the first shot went off, all you heard was like, "Arr!" And the car stopped, and then a friend in the back was telling hey, you got hit in the neck with a bullet. And then when I emerged, they're like, oh shit, you got hit in the face, right? And so when I sat down, I could see myself in the rearview mirror, and it was just all burnt around there. And then, like I said, my friend was freaking out. I think I was just in shock because I just stood quiet, and I was just looking at myself, and I think I was just like self-talking, like don't die or don't trip out or just don't trip. So I really didn't say nothing, but it was a lot of commotion. But and then after that, my friend that got shot in the neck tried to drive again up a couple blocks, like 1 block, and then on top of somebody's front lawn and shit. And then my buddy in the backseat got out and drove. I got in the backseat. My buddy that got shot in the neck got in the passenger, or scooted over to the passenger, and then we drove. There was a Kaiser around there, over if you go over Watt, somewhere around there anyway. So there was a Kaiser around there, little small. So we went up in there. Right when we got to the hospital, the car ran out of gas, so we had to walk like I don't know. We had to walk to the hospital. The thing about it was like my face wasn't bleeding. I don't know if that particular kind of wound wasn't bleeding, but it was just getting hella swollen. And then so we walked into the little hospital. People were kind of shook up and excited. And then I remember calling my mom and shit and telling her I got shot. She was like, what the fuck you do now? But and then from there they took us to UC Davis, and that shit was on the news that night. So, and then I told you it happened like at 3 o'clock. We got out the hospital like 8:30, 8:45, 9. Yeah, we got out the hospital. Shit, that night, went back home and was trying to smoke it already. I could fucking barely just went back and tried to.
Did the bullet get removed? You said
yeah. So what they did, they gave me shots, like 6 shots around it, and the doctor pulled those, how the Dr. Roach clips, one of those things, but I could feel him in there, and I could feel him like grab it. You could feel it like grab it, pull it out. They showed it to me, a little slug. I wanted to keep it, but I couldn't keep it because they were gonna keep it for evidence. So, but yeah, they took the bullet out. For like that whole week, I don't know, like a month, I was spitting up lead. I would spit up, like my body would push out lead and shit still.